So, what's up? Welcome to the Unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode 214. I'm Adam Choit. Follow the show at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That's appreciated. Like as well. Comment if you're watching after the fact. I appreciate it for sure. I'll get out an audio version of this episode out later tonight, tomorrow for sure as well on all the audio platforms. Of course, partnering with Pantheon Podcasts. They are super cool network of great music podcasts and more. Patreon.com/TTB podcast if you want to support, or is it just a regular / you know which one, the one that goes like that. Patreon, patreon.com/TTB podcast to support. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, Marion. The link to that is in the episode description on YouTube if you want to check that out. It's appreciated for sure. Weedside and Woodside, we got the man of the hour coming on. Maybe we could talk a little bit about Weedside and Woodside if you'd like sometime during this episode, but that's Randy's spot in Woodside if you're in the New York City area for all your THC CBD needs. Super cool spot, definitely. We're going to talk about, what are we talking about today? St. Augustine, the final 2 shows of the year. I've been hesitant to use sad emojis when I'm been promoting the episode. I don't want to bring people down, but I try to use maybe like a sad one and then like a happy one. Sad it's over, but happy we got all this music. So yeah, we're all coming to terms, I think, with that. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot more music and news with TTB, of course, a new album next year. But before that all is a thing, let's get into St. Augustine, because we got a bunch of guys here backstage. I'm about to bring in all returning guests. We got Michael Drum, John Davis, David Flam, and Randy. What is up? What's happening? We're all here. The gang's all here.
What's up, Adam?
The gang is all here. How's everybody doing? Where do we start? Let's start with Mr. Flam. I go counterclockwise. How you're home? How are you doing? You had an amazing time. I'm not sure where to start. I guess we'll just jump in. Let's start from the beginning. The first couple of days as you guys were kind of arriving. It sounds like Michael's got some notes. How many pages of notes you got there?
Matter, I thought he was eating some loud chips.
What's up?
It's the Power Snacks.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought it was like pages of notes. I thought it was like pages.
Like you got to protein up for these shows.
My notes are all in my heart.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm right there with you on that front. Why don't you tell me about like arriving before the show began, the vibe, where'd you stay, who'd you hang out with? And let's start with David, and then we could just jump in. I'm listening to you guys.
Well, we had thanks. It was we had a long ride. Ann and I had a long ride. I think I told John, I said, I didn't sleep at all on Thursday night. Got up about 3:45 in the morning. And about 6:45 we headed out. We had about a 6 hour ride or so on Friday, so it was a long day. And we stopped at one of our favorite places in Jacksonville Beach for lunch to break it up. And then John had arranged a hell of a tailgate. I don't know if he knew exactly, but it was Ann's birthday. Friday night was Ann's birthday. So last year we were down there at Cheers in St. Augustine, and John set up a great tailgate as well. So I guess it's kind of become a tradition there, and he put together a great tailgate, and we all hopped around, I guess, about 5 o'clock, and we can talk a little bit more about the tailgate as we go and let everybody else talk about their journey. But once we got there at 5 o'clock, it didn't seem like it had been 12, 13, 14 hours since I'd been up. And I was ready to pregame for my favorite band.
What about you, Randy? You were coming in from New York. You flew in, I assume, or drove?
Yeah, we did. My wife and I and another couple friends of ours. Actually, my buddy who put me on to the band many years ago. We flew in from New York on Thursday, got in a little early, got to see the fort on Thursday, went to the lighthouse, did all the touristy stuff. got that out of the way. Not that it wasn't fun; it was totally awesome. So if you're ever down there, definitely check it out. If you're a history guy too, it's pretty amazing. The city itself is super cool. St. Augustine, really cool. Like Thursday, we did the like historic area. We had a little time Friday before the show. Did a little beach time, got ready, some drinking, and yeah. Next thing I know, it was game time on Friday. Saturday came around pretty quick, and back to New York on Sunday.
What about you? And what about you, John? Did you had the shortest journey, correct?
I'm sure I probably did. We live in Central Florida, outside Orlando, so about an hour and 45 for us. But we weren't tempting fate, having 2 shows up there. We rented a condo, and we got a nice one on the beach and a nice view of the ocean. So yeah, it was awesome. We checked in on Friday and went to the lot about 4:45. I think we took a place in the lot, and the workers in the lot helped us get parked in a nice area where we could welcome some special friends that were visiting, and made it easier for them to visit. David's way too kind in saying it was my tailgate. I dare say most of those people were there to see the mayor of the swamp. Everyone knows David, and everyone loves David, and a lot of those folks came around because of David. But we had some friends there, and people we worked with on Jacksonville's Kofi Day turned out there. You get out of your car. I mean, it's such a great community. You get out of your car, and instantly you're having fun with the people in the car next to you, and so made new friends out of their party. Just a great community to be a part of, and those 2 tailgates on Friday and Saturday, they're really half the story. The concert, of course, blows us away, but the party that we had in this community was a great time.
Where were you hanging out, at your condo or in the lot at the venue?
We were hanging out in the lot at the Amp.
A tailgate. You meant it.
Yeah. There were at some points probably a good 20, maybe even as close to 30 people hanging out. Once they filled up that end of the row, there was no traffic. There was no through traffic. They filled the end of the row, and they didn't care. They didn't really police it, which is not a bad thing. It's not debauchery out there. It just, what I'm saying is, it made a lot of space for community. Yeah, it was good time. Very good time.
Do you play TTB at the tailgate, or do you save it for later? I think I probably asked you that question.
No, there was music playing on the radios. Absolutely, yeah. That was in fact coming from
mix,
the party.
Not just TT, but some TTB and a mix of other stuff.
I dare say mostly TTB actually.
But once you're in the venue and once it's live, you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm tired of hearing this." You're in the moment. You're not even. You're for sure.
You
could have listened to Midnight in Harlem 70 times. I was gonna say you could listen to Midnight in Harlem 70 times, and then when they play it live, it's as special as ever.
Yeah, and truth be told, at that point, the music is largely background because it's the person in front of you that you're talking to and having fun with.
Right.
And largely the music is in the background, playing out of somebody's car or somebody's little speaker.
In the foreground later that evening.
The people
absolutely 100%. Yeah.
What's that, David?
I think, John, the people next to us had some music playing, and they were playing old TTB. We could hear a little bit, and as John said, made some new friends with the group next to us. There's a lot of kind of tailgating that goes on, mostly in the Elks lot next door. But John got a great spot in the main lot, and what was so great about the spot he had, it was kind of on the area where people were either lining up or kind of walking by towards the box office and everything, and people would walk by and see John or Ann or myself or somebody else, and they just walk over, and say, hey, and the next thing you know, John or I are pouring each one of them a bourbon, and they're hanging around and chatting with us for a few minutes, and then on their way. And others had chairs and were hanging out and hung for the whole, we probably were there a good hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes Friday night beforehand. And we'll talk a little bit more, but you probably want to hear about Michael's trip. So
Yeah, tell me about your
wanna...
no, but I do appreciate hearing about the tailgate and all that, and that's why I ask, about everyone's journey and what'd you do before, who'd you hang out with and all that, because that's part of the whole vibe, that's part of the whole experience, that's part of the whole me living vicariously through you guys to get the background on where everyone's coming in from, and because I can picture it. I want to pull up also pictures of the venue, not just necessarily
pull up the
see
picture that I sent you from John. We had a special guest at the tailgate on Friday night.
Oh, I wasn't even sure if that was the tailgate.
Yeah, that's part of the tailgate. That's part of the tailgate we had.
All right, why don't we go to Michael first, and you tell me. I want to bring in Larry also. He's here. How are we doing, Mr. James?
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
The whole gang.
Those are the two Saturday night specialists right there. Those are the two Saturday night specialists.
Meaning what?
Yeah. I had fun.
They just hung out that night.
Yeah. I guess it was the only night that I went. So.
Oh, you weren't there the first night.
I wasn't there the first night. Yeah.
That's okay. Why don't we go to Michael and then to Larry, and then we'll look at the tailgate pictures. Then we'll get into the show and the venue and all that. How does that sound? I'll keep the train moving along here. So you flew in as well, Michael.
I flew in from Denver, which of course is where I live, and so this year has been just a great educational experience for me in terms of how it all started back in May. But suffice to say, by the time I was about ready to head to the airport, Mayor Flam had already supported me he had a friend who couldn't come and had some pit tickets. And so I was able to get the 6th row in the pit and was able through cash or trade to sell the 2 tickets I had bought during the pre-sale back in April. And that all worked out. 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon, I sold the 2nd ticket. And so anyway, I have to fly in. I don't have the ability I have to make these trips quick. And so I don't get a chance to come to the tailgates because I'm basically walked into the venue and came down to the pit right as they were walking on the stage. So that was perfect timing. So I get on the plane in Denver. I'm in row 12. And then there's a gentleman sitting on the aisle in row 9. And he immediately sees my T-shirt and my hat because I don't go anywhere almost any day of the week without one or both. Got quite the T-shirt collection now. And he goes, "Oh, wow. Do you know that? Are you into them?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so then he explains that Falcon is his nephew. And so I ask him, "Are you going?" And obviously Murphy Smith is not a big music guy. So I went to my seat, and then I had to go to the bathroom halfway through the flight. And I came back and wanted to get his story. And of course, I had years of doing video production, doing lots of interviews with people. So I'm pretty good at being able to support somebody and sharing a story. And this was really amazing. So Murphy explains that when Falcon Tyler was like 10 years old, his mother, who was, I guess, a single mom, was a little bit overwhelmed. She was working as a waitress full-time and going to real estate school, trying to get a real estate license. So he moved in with them and became kind of a surrogate father of sorts, I trust. And then he says, well, he was showing interest in music, and then one day his mom bought him a drum kit. And he goes, "I could have killed her." Wow. And so, like I say, he's not really a music guy. So his first, he didn't think this was a good idea. And this is like the old story of my generation being raised, where parents were like, "That's not a good career. What are you doing?" But mom was like, she was obviously on the wavelength with her son. And Murphy was just like, he said it more than once. Said, "I wanted to kill her."
How's that going for you
He
now?
stuck with it. He stuck with
Yeah,
it though.
yeah.
He stuck with it. He stuck with it.
Well,
Obviously, but he stuck with it.
Well, obviously he started, and he said he started showing what he's got pretty soon, and it was off and running. So once he had it, he wasn't continuing to try to be interfering in it. And he said he's seen the band once, which I found to be a little interesting. And then I knew more about what was going on than he did. And then I mentioned how they were going to be on the Disney Plus Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stream that's coming up. And I've kind of made up what I think's going on there because, of course, Joe Cocker's being inducted. And who's going to be the band? Usually it's members of the band. Well, Chris Stainton is still alive, I believe. Did he pass? I hope not.
No, I think he's still alive.
Yeah.
So who else would be Joe Cocker's band at this point in time? And again, they haven't said exactly. It just says they're going to be appearing. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't want to give away what's going on. But I believe I kind of guessed that that's what it is. When it comes time to have Joe Cocker music featured after the induction, it's going to be TTB.
With Dave Mason, Susanna's suggesting, perhaps.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could be, although Dave isn't playing anymore. He just stopped touring.
Yeah, his health is taking a turn for the worse.
So
I'm
he
sorry
may
to hear
be
that.
there. So, I'm not going to try to project out what all might also be going on, but I just think, what more do you need at this point? You can't have a better representation of Mad Dogs and Englishmen than what TTB does. In fact, probably the original band, while it was utterly magic, and I actually saw them in March of 1970 when I was 18 years old. And that's when I had become a Leon Russell maniac, which was right when he was about to go solo. And then he came to Denver and did 5 rehearsal shows at the same venue for $3 a ticket. And I went to all 5 of those. And that's when I was a shy, repressed, scared little boy. And I'd started to kind of break out of that. That was the first shows I ever danced in public, was those Leon shows. Just amazing. So that's part of the whole thing that is an ingredient as to how this band has stolen my heart, and I've given them the keys, and I don't want them back. So then, chatted with Murphy a little bit more, and he's obviously supportive, but he's obviously not a music guy. Yeah, I've seen him once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's different. May not be able to make it to as many shows as he'd like as well. But I appreciate you sharing the Falcon.
15 years he's had to be able to see them more than once. I don't want to get into I have no clue about their family. Somebody did mention to me that Falcon has a really good relationship with him. Just as an aside, I don't know if I got that completely right, but there's obviously no issues, because this is what always happens when there's a family member who doesn't get what the kid's doing, and then the kid becomes what's happened to Falcon. At that point, everybody kind of drops whatever grievance they thought they had, because you know what? It worked. And boy, did it work. I said that to him. I said, he couldn't be in a better situation, period.
That's for sure.
And what a great thing.
I was going to say, even from the outside as a fan, and none of us knowing Tedeschi Truck's band members, on a super duper personal level, I feel like we can all confidently echo that sentiment. What you're saying, that he's in a good place that is all about family and taking care of their own, caring about the family, as people and as band members. So I landed, and I had, not knowing anything about St. Augustine and not really connecting in with anybody to get any advice. So I had found a roadway in that was about a mile further north from the Hampton Inn that David and you guys and Richie were staying at. And so I got there,
And I had about an hour and a half before showtime. And so I, got things organized in a number of different ways, and then headed off and got there. And again, I walked in right as they were walking on stage. And I was so excited about this because last year, and I didn't know anybody who's on this call a year ago, I also went to the last night at the Fox. And if I had known, obviously there's a few people I could have connected with then. But anyway, the last night of anything, like at the Beacon, at Red Rocks, of the tour, is special, as I think I've learned. So we've also talked about, it's kind of, by degrees as to how much one show may be a little more special. I think Saturday night was beyond a few degrees better. And second set was all you needed to know. And all of a sudden, Derek let his hair down.
Literally, of course, we'll get into that, I'm sure.
But the intensity of what was going down at that show was trademark. That this band has created they should trademark their brand of intensity, because that's the most musical intensity I've ever experienced. And so it was just, and again, I didn't want to be taping that much, even though I was closer. I wound up taking more pictures than I normally do. But from a lot of the songs, I was just on my feet and just doing what I first did with Leon Russell back in 1970. And that's dancing. And I've gotten into doing the whole kind of hallelujah, it's just an opportunity to let go and have them drive my car. And I'll give them the keys every time. Because I remember at the Beacon, I became aware of going, Derek, come and get me. Take me wherever you want to take me. And now Susan has joined him in that pantheon of awe-inspiring performers, because Derek was kind of my entree to the whole thing, because I was raised as a guitar guy. And Susan, of course, is a great guitar player too, but Derek's the greatest. So, and now I just cry. I think half the songs I cry.
I get it, and sometimes you don't know when it's gonna happen. And it doesn't have to be from a ballad. It doesn't have to be from an emotional song. It could be in the middle per se. It could be an upbeat song, just something nostalgic, something emotional, something we can't even really always understand why we're feeling the way we're feeling, but we know the music moves us in a way to make us feel that and express that. Good stuff, Larry. I'm gonna go to Larry.
One more thing.
One more thing. Go for it. Jump it.
So they got to Do You Remember, and I'm sorry that I not think that's one of
that's the crier
ever written, and that speaks to my own experience and my own childhood. And there's a metaphoric link I can make to many of their songs to my own experience, even if it's not literal. And I just, if I want to, I could just stop here and start crying. But we need to hear from Larry.
You can if you want. I'm not gonna stop you.
We're not judging anyone here.
Just no bawling though. That might be a little strange. If you're wildly weeping and sobbing, that might be a bit much. But a few tears is okay, acceptable.
I don't accept that, Adam. If I'm gonna bawl, that's it. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. But I don't think it's not at the surface right now, so I don't expect it.
All good. I appreciate you sharing the journey, the literal one and the metaphorical one in some regard as well. Larry, how are you? Where are you? And you went to second night. When did we come in there? And tell me your journey a little bit.
I'm doing well. I'm a little tired still. I did come in on night 2, but I was in St. Augustine on night 1. Full disclosure, I sacrificed going to a concert to spend time with my wife, which was a very rarity on its own, even though I saw TTD only twice this year. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. You know, happy wife, happy life, and then
Now I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, now you're gonna cry. But it made my Saturday night that much better because my wife was happy. She was there, and you know, I was happy. I could enjoy my show without stresses or worries. You know, it was a good experience, and I know there'll be a whole another year, and you know, just you got to take what you can get and you know, enjoy it. So
I think you picked the better of the 2 nights.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Again,
I
the
mean,
last night thing that Michael spoke to, the last
100%.
night is always
Right,
gonna be,
right.
If
It's,
you
it's,
can only go one
not that
night,
it's
go the
apples
second,
and
go the
oranges,
second.
but
I
Yeah.
respectfully have a different opinion on that. But
well, I
we'll talk.
appreciate your opinion, and I appreciate Ann Flam as much as your opinion, because both of them are very valid, and supports you and supports her own needs. And it was her birthday, so like you had no choice, Dave. You had to be there. So, and it's if I had known it was her birthday celebration, and I would have probably made a little bit more effort to go. So I apologize for not being there. But hey, we had a great time. It was a great weekend. I love seeing everybody. Michael, I'm sorry I didn't get to see you. Randy, were you there, or are you just checking it out on stream?
no, I was there at the shows.
I'm sorry we didn't connect either. So many familiar faces, such a good time. You know, John and Dave, we didn't take a single photograph. We met for lunch. We hung out in the parking lot.
That's guys though. That's dudes do that stuff. We're not all thinking about selfies every 2 seconds. We're just talking.
We're not Instagram worthy, I guess.
That's a dude thing to be like, oh, hang out for like 3 straight days. And
I got a hard drive right here. So
yeah, it's a miracle we remember each other's. There's a meme about with guys hanging out and then guys could hang out for hours and not know each other's names. Anyway,
I think it was the least I've taken my phone out at least in recent memory at a TDB show. I don't know if I was consciously trying to live in the moment and not record. I don't know what the optics were, but I just didn't a lot. And yeah, it was awesome to just not have my phone. And I do that often. I love to get great video, but yeah, for some reason, when I look back at pictures, I was like, what am I going to post these 2 pictures on Instagram that I took the whole weekend long of the fort and 1 picture in the venue? I just didn't have a lot of shots for whatever the reason was.
Exact same.
Yeah, I didn't. I took 1 shot during the show, and that was it. You know, I was like,
look at that picture right there, baby.
That's a great photo.
Now you know you're throwing a good tailgate at them when some old raggedy sax player comes and joins your tailgate before the show. You know you're throwing a party.
And you know, for the most part, now he stood with us for a good 10, 15 minutes for a drink. He stood there for a drink, and we had a good conversation. And what you can't see off camera are probably another 20 people. And he was largely unbothered. There were a few people that came up to him, as you know, as he would probably expect. But it was very cool in that regard, how absolutely chill the whole thing was.
We're so lucky for that, and we're all grateful for that with this band, because you just don't get that with every every musical experience with that filled with these super high level musicians and virtuosos and legends. Like to see this band and be able to rub shoulders with them and have a drink with them and hang out with them, you just don't get that intimate experience. And I know we all kind of fear that we could be losing that at some point, but nevertheless, just appreciate it while we have it. And the fact that like Kebbi comes out and hangs is awesome. Good stuff. Cool.
And we have to give credit to on the right side there of Kebbi, my good friend Ross Myers. He's buddies with Kebbi, and he invited Kebbi out to join us for a drink, and nice. Kebbi was gracious enough just to come out and, you know, after sound check, whatever, he said, I've got a few minutes. You know, Ross, I'll come join you and your buddies and have a beverage and in a chat. And somebody asked a picture, and Kebbi was like, hell yeah, let's take a picture. And whoever just happened to be standing there at that time was fortunate enough to get in the shot with him.
And that's Riverside Kate there
yeah,
on next to you on your left there.
No, that's Kathy Sharp from Atlanta.
Yeah,
her husband Keith,
yeah, right.
Are big, yeah. And they're big fans from Atlanta. I'm not sure where Keith was at the time, but
off camera,
so he didn't get in there. But I mean, we had a blast. I mean, John, he sets it up in the back of his vehicle and everything, and had cupcakes for Ann for her birthday, and just so many friends brought by some, gifts for Ann and stuff. And it was, I mean, she definitely felt a lot of love for our 66th birthday there, and it was really special. I mean, there were, again, kind of become a destination. I mean, there were people. I didn't know Randy was there until, I don't know if that was Saturday or late.
As we were walking
Friday,
out on Friday night, I saw you going towards the car.
Night, we said hello. But I mean, there were folks. I mean, you had Michael from Colorado. We had some other friends from Colorado, obviously New York. We had
Jersey was Alabama, in the house.
Jersey, New York. I mean,
Cleveland,
people
Ohio.
from everywhere.
I saw.
I mean, just
a couple next to me drove down from Pennsylvania, and they decided to go through the mountains and see the fall colors, but they intended to drive all the way to Florida for just that Saturday night show. Incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be on the calendar for sure. It's got to be.
Suzanne is asking here. Kebbi said in his interview with Alan Paul that they make the set list after sound check. I was a little surprised. Maybe it's finalized after sound check.
I would venture to say I would go with that and finalized. I would think Derek's got a lot more in the pocket. Before that, but I liked. That was a great interview. And I mean, throw it out now. We can throw it out later, but. Kebbi's doing that music in the park in Atlanta, and he really used some financial support. He's lost a lot of local financial support and everything. So, if you're feeling generous, he's been for 13 to 15 years, helping kids in Atlanta, discover music as opposed to, things that aren't as productive and healthy. And he's doing a great job in Atlanta. He and Falcon drove back after the show Saturday night. They got in the car after the show Saturday night, drove 6 hours to Atlanta so Kebbi could be there for his music in the park. And he worked his ass off all day in the rain on Sunday to put the gig together. And, anybody, if you're feeling, $5, $25, $100, $500, he can use all the help possible to keep what he's doing alive. And
is there a GoFundMe or is there some avenue?
Yeah,
I put the link in
right on his page.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah, you donate right on his page, and he does so much for the young people in music, and he wants to give back because he found music, as a younger person, and then studied it in college, and lo and behold, look what he's done. And he says he gets as much out of playing with the kids as the kids get out of playing with him. It's just a great thing that he does.
What a powerhouse all weekend he was.
I was too tired after my weekend. I was too tired to go out there and enjoy the thing. And he drove all night to do the work all day the next day. I mean, man he's a saint when it comes to what he does for music in Atlanta. And, I just want to put that out there to try to support him. So, all of your fans, Adam, whatever you can spare, like I said, $5, $25,
Music in
$500.
the Park, Music in the Park, ATL.org, Music in the Park,
ATL.org.
Yes. I'll get that in the audio description as well. Try to remember to do that.
So I came up with a saying that mirrors what has just been talked about here, and I put it in one of my Facebook posts. The unpretentious humanity of this band is part of their superpowers.
Certainly,
I think that's what is just emanates off of them.
It's crazy that they have that and the music itself. We love so much. They don't have to be great people too, and I would still love the music almost as much. But the fact that it's almost like somehow equal levels of awesome music and awesome people is something that's like totally sort of unexpected as a music fan. That's why I always kind of ask you guys about like the vibe in other fan bases that you may have been a part of in the past or currently, because bands have big followings and groups of followings, and there's always some kind of politics within different fandoms to varying degrees or vibes within the group. So I always hear like TTB, just the fans, the group, and the whole Swamp family stands out, especially.
I think Susan was a little bit in awe. She was like, she always
when people were
like,
singing.
How about it for this band? She always says that. But I heard her say, and I rewatched the shows on Nugs again, and I heard her say, like, what a great band. I don't know if I've ever heard her say about her own band, which they are, obviously. And it's not like that's not her being humble, but it was almost like her being inspired like the rest of us. Like, well, what a great band. And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, that's why we're all here, right? This is, of course. But it was like, she always says, oh, how about the horns or how about this? But she's very rarely like, fanboying the band herself, and she definitely, it seemed, points that she was as awed as we were.
I think she does it with her expressions when she looks at Derek or another member of the band. I think we see it through that, and also maybe sometimes when she misses her cues, because I think she could get so lost in somebody's solo or somebody's stage presence or something like that. I think that's a theory. I can't confirm that, but there's been a couple of times where Derek has to give her a quick late nod and a reminder.
He gives everybody that nod.
Everybody gets. I mean,
everybody gets that nod.
Yeah, we're all in awe of Derek's playing, especially, and could forget like where we are in time and space, let alone when our parts are coming up. If someone has to play a part.
But after
we've said it before.
Go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, we've said it before. I mean, the band as musicians is second to none. As humans, they're, to me, second to none. But the other thing that they do is they brought so many, to me, great people into my life and Ann's life, meeting people that are like-minded with the music and have developed such friendships. I mean, for me, the first time I saw him was in 13, probably started, really connecting with, other fans, maybe 15. And then by 17, really started to get to know, people. And now by John and I met, I jumped on his tailgate in 2021 in Jacksonville. And he and his buddies were drinking. I brought over a bottle of bourbon, and next thing you knew, we were best buds, loving on TTB. And now here we are 4.5 years later, having a tailgate, 25 new friends that we, have made over those years. And it's just, I've met so many great people. I mean, my life just, I think about Michael and his journey with health and how what the music has done for him. I mean, the music's so spiritual, but then all the friends that we've made that are truly freaking friends. I mean, it's not, it's not just, hey, let's say, hey, we're going to a show. I mean, it's friends that we speak to throughout the year, and we're not in the freaking same state. We're miles apart, but we're enjoying each other's company wherever it might be. I mean, we had a whole group, 11 of us went to lunch on Saturday. We put a whole crew together, and I guess thank God for Larry. We invited his wife, so she was happy, and John's wife and my wife, and it was, it was just a great thing. So, outside of the music, getting together for lunch and, talking about family and other stuff. So it's just, what a great ride it's been to meet so many incredible people, not just in the band and not only the band's crew, man, are they just so gracious, and they work so damn hard. and they just never say no to you. You're asking for a set list or picks, or people were asking for the flowers and stuff off the stage, and they were handing people flowers, and there were some mushrooms. They weren't even real mushrooms, but people wanted the stuff off the stage. And again, the crew, the people, they're so giving, and the fans are so giving. John's introducing me to people, that he knew, and they just come up and give you a hug, and they're like, man, hey, I think I've seen you at a show somewhere or whatever, and it's, you hit it off. Like John said, the people next to us playing some music, and we're best buds.
It's almost surprising when me or you especially come across somebody who's been to 12, 24, or a few dozen shows or more, 100 shows. I'm like, how do we not run into each other yet? How have we not been on the show? Have we not been just messaging or something? Like, I'm speaking for you, speaking for me. Like, but you always, that's the great thing too. You're always meeting more great fans and uniquely special music fans in the TTB world, for sure.
What's funny, because some people have runs in the Midwest, some are in the Northeast, some are in the Northwest, some are, at different places. And then finally you hit a venue, you both decide to go to the same venue, and boom, the next thing you know, you're meeting somebody.
And you're meeting new fans too, because when people discover this band, they dive deep very quickly. I've noticed some fans, a lot of fans. Whereas, like, if you just found the band in 2018, 2020, whatever it is, like, you're gonna dive in. Before you know it, you're gonna be going to 5, 9, 12 shows a year, whatever the case, 20 shows a year, like whatever you can get to. Your mindset is gonna be you can get to as many as you can. What's up, Garrett, friend of the show? The power of music is incredible. It brings people together like nothing else can, and that goes tenfold, if I'm using that word correctly here for this band.
And
certainly.
Adam, I want you to know this might be a sign that you've hit the big time, because this is related to what David was talking about. At one of the tailgates, a gentleman walks up to me, and one of the first things he says to me, he says, "I know you from Adam's podcasts."
Yeah, well,
there you go, buddy.
You've made the big time as well. Well, my favorite joke is for Beacon shows, how I'm famous 1 or 2 weeks of the year on one specific street between two specific avenues when this one specific band is in town, hanging out, in the alley there by the Beacon or whatever.
Yeah.
And
with the other crazies.
I have a little story. Since I got there just as they were going on stage, I always buy a poster for the shows I go to. And so at the break, I go to merch, the main merch, sold out. So I come back down and find David, and I met, they're sold out. And then there's Richie Davies right there, of course, with David. And it's like, he's got an extra one because he's always buying it. Like, he bought one for David, but David had already gotten one. And so that turned into me going out to Richie's vehicle and then having him drive me back to my motel. And we just had the greatest conversation and got his whole history.
Just another fan of great music fan. I've connected with him too, messaging and stuff over the years.
And so that was, that's how this works. That's what I
discovered. A lot of navy blue Kofi shirts around this year. A lot of people. Yeah. Nice, really nice, and super easy, obviously, to like start a conversation with anybody, but especially when you're wearing. I wore a Kofi shirt one day, during the day, not even to the show, just around the beach. I mean, I couldn't get a step in without somebody going, "Did you go to the Kofi event? Which city were you in?" What? It was I went. I didn't buy the bootleg shirt somewhere, but it was.
You earned that shirt. You earned
it. You got people want to know where you get that. I said you got to earn that shirt, David.
They they should sell them and donate to portion to causes or something.
Yeah,
like that.
There was a cause. There was an official shirt in the very first year, and it never came back for sale. I have one of those shirts.
I had behind the guitar there. They got to sell the hats, sell the shirts. Yeah. It is the band does like to see and is happy to see that shirts and the Kofi hats, people wearing Kofi stuff in the audience. I think that goes almost without saying. I think Derek and Susan especially like to see that for the whole band.
Yeah, you had heard Renee Pfeffer say that on your podcast when we were all together. Renee passed that forward. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Renee's Zoom meeting. I confused it with your podcast.
Online, we're all blends together.
That poster struck a chord with Ann. We've kind of been postered out, and she saw that and she's like, we got to get that. We got to get that. And one of our friends from California who didn't make it, she asked us to buy her one. She wanted one. And then around the tailgate, we were talking, and the next thing I knew, I had to go buy 4 of them.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Yeah, that's why it was sold out.
He was still hosting the tailgate, so I had to go out and make a merchandise run for everybody. And
thank you.
While John kept things going at the tailgate,
kept the whiskey stand going.
But beautiful. Oh my God, we were pouring it, Randy. If we would have known you were there, man.
Well, I stopped by after the end of the show. After the first night, I walked with you guys. You were all drinking, but we were in a crew, and we didn't get there early for the park, so we were a little whiles away. I learned the hard way. By night 2, I was much better at the St. Augustine procedure. I had to learn the hard way, though. So
yeah, for next year.
Yeah, exactly. Better late than never. Yeah.
This is the Friday night set list, right?
I might be in the minority. Obviously, Randy and John, you were there both nights, but obviously it was Friday night was Ann's birthday. But I thought Friday night was
he's gonna say
as good as it gets. I thought it was as good as it gets.
They were both outstanding. I'm not going to say one was
both outstanding. Absolutely.
It's I think to the individual, it's not only just like if more of the songs you enjoy, which we enjoy all the songs, all of us that are on this cast, right? But we still have our favorites. So depending on which of those nights you get more of those, the energy of like the place, like I loved my spot in the second night so much better than the first. So like obviously that's going to always make my time a better one. The music is always like top notch. So it's like, which songs did they give us? That did it. Awesome. Best song of the night.
These are Susan's set lists, correct? It looks like based on the guitar.
When it has the guitar, right?
I think they might have been.
Yeah, and the X's is either not singing or no mic, no guitar.
Les Paul,
no guitar.
Yeah.
She's not on Passaquan. She's not playing guitar on Space Captain, right?
Yeah.
She's singing.
I mean, DMSR, that song just freaking cooks. I mean, I guess for me, Friday night we had Mike sang lead on 3 songs. Friday night was amazing. Getting DMSR, and then anyhow kind of late in the first set, and then Circles, which has not been played a whole lot this year.
Right.
Into the Passaquan, which was
very trippy.
I heard that.
Derek did something
on that.
Yeah, was Derek on one himself? I don't know. He was. I thought it was me at the show, and then I watched the Nugs back to make sure it wasn't me because in a more sober state of mind. And if Derek was those that what do you call it? Feedback that he was doing in Passaquan was like I never heard him do that before ever.
I noticed that in Franklin as well, and plus on Saturday, he's definitely working the feedback more in general.
It's funny. I listened to Wilmington today, which is an excellent recording if anyone's interested, and he does almost like a 3-minute feedback in Part of Me, which is oddly like it's outside of the normal standard. Like he just usually takes the first solo and then Kebbi takes it, but during that part he's doing more feedback, like loops. Maybe he's getting
talking
ready
to aliens.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that speaks a lot to that Passaquan.
Thank you, Suzanne. It wasn't just me. Those 2 songs
had a different vibe, and I felt the vibe more on night 1.
I mean, pull up that second set from night 1. I mean, give me a freaking break. That is freaking. I mean, that's it's otherworldly.
Future
That
Soul, Let Me
second
Get
set-
Isaac and Kebbi into Let Me Get By.
Yeah.
Just as Strange, What in the World, Down in the Flood, Don't Think Twice, Keep on Growing, Gilded Splinters, That Did It, Space Captain, Encore, Soul Sweet Song, Sly Metal. I'll read down set one also. Crazy Crying, Ain't That Something, Do I Look Worried, Who Am I? Part of Me, DMSR, Anyhow, and then that circles into Pacific One. Close out set one. Where are you? I'm digging this. What in the world?
Future Soul to start the second set was just off the. I was like, when they started the second set with that, I was like, oh my god, this is, I mean, right up my alley. And then you got Isaac and Kebbi, and I'm like, oh my god, they're going into Let Me Get By. You get some manic depression, Just as Strange, which they haven't played much this year. Yeah. And I mean, if you're not grooving to that song, you don't have a pulse.
Did he do
what in the world, which is kind of new?
Within
what's that?
Within Without You. They didn't do Within Without You, but he
yes,
did like
he definitely did the Beatles.
Like a tease.
Yeah, it's a tease of it. He did that in Wilmington too. So it's just like a little bit of Sly in there 100%. To begin it, but like it's very reminiscent.
No, I love that those sounds.
What was brand new to me, which I thought was fantastic, was Brandon's intro and Keep on Growing was awesome.
Yes.
That was
I don't know if it was where we were, Randy. We were front on the right in front of Brandon over by like Derek and Brandon. He to me was so high in the mix. It was, I mean, when we got to see him briefly on Saturday, I said, man, your sound Friday night was off the hook. It
unbelievable.
Was as powerful as I'd ever heard it.
Agreed.
Derek came over to him a couple of times. He moved over that way and then look at that run, Down in the Flood, Don't Think Twice, Keep on Growing. Put me to bed, man. I mean, you don't get a better run than that. I mean, for me, Keep on Growing is my favorite cover. Down in the Flood is just sick with Mike. And then, I hear Angel a lot. So to me, Don't Think Twice. Obviously got Angel the next night.
Two Dylan songs, back-to-back Dylan songs.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
And I thought Susan's lead on That Did It could have been the most I've ever enjoyed her guitar playing.
Yeah. I thought it was the highlight of the night, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also rarely hear it, so I love
it certainly stood out. And I did not watch I was traveling, so I was listening to the show more than watching it.
Boo this guy off the stage.
But certainly that Did It is it stood out and stands out from this night. Certainly, Down in the Flood is awesome too. Trumpet solo, right?
Yeah.
One last thing about the set, and then I'll shut up. The last song in the set might have been for Ann's birthday. I can't not necessarily swear to it, but it is her favorite. It is her favorite song. It was her birthday. Susan did come over to her after the show. She kind of walked over the front of the stage and wished Ann a happy birthday. It was, brought a tear to my eye. And I believe that the Sly medley was a nod to her birthday. Somebody might have told Susan that it was Ann's birthday on Friday night. So it was really special. So might tip my thoughts to Friday night over Saturday.
I see. It all makes sense.
Perspective.
But I will tell you, I don't know, Randy. I don't know if you looked around, but during that Sly medley, the crowd was bonkers. Yeah. That song is a party. And
it had been my guess of one of the two closers, just because at that point, as they were leading up those last few shows, they hadn't done Sly Medley, they hadn't done Space Captain, and I was almost pretty positive that they were going to close the tour with "With a Little Help from My Friends," because how are they not going to do that? So I didn't think we were going to get them both in the same show, though. I didn't think we were going to get the Sly Medley and Space Captain together.
Yeah, I remember the Beacon, the Saturday at the Beacon, when they ended with the Sly medley.
Yeah,
and that was just
any of their shows,
phenomenal.
That the closer, that's the typical closer, isn't the closer, like Space Captain, or the next night when Show Me is like in the second set midway through, like when those are the typical closers and they're stuffed into the show, it's pretty crazy,
Yeah, for sure.
Did anybody else notice on Saturday? I forget which song it was, but at one point Susan's glasses started sliding down a little bit, and she pushed them back up, and the crowd response was like, I was like, wow. I go, that's why she wears those glasses.
It's the little thing it's the little things we like to see, the humanity, these little moments. We could dive into night two. Did anyone have anything else on night one? Not that we can't jump.
I had a question. Did Emmanuel have his solo during Down in the Flood?
No, he didn't. No, I think I misspoke. Thank you for bringing it up. I think I've been listening to an earlier show. Maybe it was the North Carolina show where Emmanuel had a solo, but Gabe had the solo. I think Down in the Flood. Does that ring? I'm pretty sure it was Gabe. A Gabe solo on the outro of Down in the Flood, and it kind of caught me off guard in a way because I didn't expect it. I was ready for
Emmanuel had a solo and Keep On Growing, right? He does a solo and Keep On Growing, I think.
Emmanuel had a feature on Keep On Growing.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a different show where the last time they had done Down in the Flood,
and then obviously did that like monster solo before Until You Remember, which was like super big.
The next time. Yes, on night two. Yes.
Yeah, he's a powerhouse.
I have one complaint. I have one complaint about the weekend, Adam. I have one complaint.
What, they don't
can't get a freaking taper in St. Augustine. Why can't
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything.
You got nugs now. You got nugs.
Yeah, we got nugs. And I got to see a bunch of.
Last year, the March show down there was, touted as one of the highlights of the year last year, and there was, no taper there last year. So,
it's still like released off St. Augustine. I don't think I've ever heard it. I wasn't there last year. Yeah.
No, it's not. It hasn't been. I got a buddy here in Atlanta. I'm going to have to pay his way to go down to St. Augustine next year to tape it because I want to, I obviously the nugs, but for me, I have it, in my car where I can, play it is important.
Yeah, and you're gonna be able to have all the tracks and all that.
Yeah.
See where everything starts. And
disappointing that we didn't have a taper. But
maybe one will emerge. You would have seen one, is what you're saying?
There was some chatter about people seeing stands and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, I never saw back one. By the soundboard, but I don't know if that's just band equipment. I don't think that's. I'm not aware of one. So
there was a lot more equipment there because of Nugs as well.
I thought Nugs did a great job when I rewatched them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What I saw was awesome. What I heard was amazing. So I'll jump at. I'll read the set here. Don't Let Me Slide, Outside Woman Blues, Bell Bottom Blues. Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? We got the three Clapton songs there. Fall In, Learn How to Love, Until You Remember, which we've already been talking about. Midnight, and I Want More, and Soul Sacrifice to close out.
Boy, Derek Solo and Learn How to Love. He's playing the hollow body on that. And he did some feedback stuff there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was going.
Hey, Michael, did you and Richie talk about that? That was Richie's been chasing that song for a long time, and he got it Saturday night. He was pretty stoked.
And boy, did they kill that!
Yeah, that was my
good times.
And then he's turning to the amps and and turning the knob and just the master. We get to witness the master.
Yeah, it's the alien. He's talking to the aliens. Let the good times roll. Devil be gone. Isaac and Kebbi jam into shame. Show me. What they were doing is I'm interrupting myself, but they bringing encore songs into the set list or at the end of a show before the encore, which makes it always feel that much more special. We're gonna see with a little help maybe within set lists next, like that. Maybe not that exactly, but things like that. This band they make it always feel special. But we got Idle Wind and Angel. There was
Sugary.
Angel and Sugary.
They always do those together.
Won't Burn, Bound for Glory. I can't.
No, Just Won't Burn. They skipped Just Won't Burn, so that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but
David mentioned to me
it was played recently though. She played it recently though.
Yeah, but they did not play it Saturday night.
No, they
what was that? Was that Wilmington also, Larry?
Yeah, it was actually. I listened to that today. But I wanted to mention that you guys, the reason I think the reason they played Show Me, and it's followed up with Down for Glory, as they brought, and I guess Mike's did the same thing in the first set, but they bring the microphone up to the center stage. So Mark had the whole crowd in his arms, and Alecia for Bound to Glory, she had the whole crowd
She was
in her
down
arms.
front. They were down front. Mm-hmm.
Which is a great thing to see them come forward, and
They've
being
been
the
doing
final
that.
night,
I've seen them do that a number of times.
Not always for Bound for Glory, though, right? There's some the
She's
Bound
Beacon.
for
been
Glory,
coming
yes.
out of late, Adam,
Yeah.
every time, because she does the little strut around from the back, and it's really awesome. And the crowd starts cheering, and then she struts her way up to the front lately. It's been pretty awesome.
I had a note here about that, about how the crowd, as soon as she started to disappear into the dark of the vocal stand, away from Mike and Mark, the crowd started to cheer, and then she walks forward, and everybody just with anticipation for her.
22 songs each night, 44 blues total. No pun intended, or total pun.
There you go.
I assume they're intended.
I was a little surprised they didn't play It Ain't Fair for her, but I think they played it last year, so you can't get them all in. But I was.
They played. What was it? 2 hours and 45 minutes, just about each night. A playing time, pretty good amount of music.
Yeah,
you don't get cheated.
Both of the first sets were longer than usual. Both first sets went longer than usual. I was like, wow. This is nice. They just were going.
It was a lot of music.
Yeah.
Michael, thanks to you, I went back and caught your video again. Derek's playing. I mean, obviously stellar. One of the highlights for me was his guitar work on Shame. I thought was it was pretty. It was outer. I mean, it was spectacular. I went back and listened to that again twice today.
Definitely
God.
feedback. And that's the thing. As we talked, I think on last time I was on, this is a jazz band. In that everything's always a little different.
Like the Allman Brothers carrying that legacy.
That's the jazz tradition. You're not playing rote. You're not just doing an arrangement. There's room to move, and these guys can all take full advantage of that. And I'm starting to hear how Derek, almost never plays everything the same.
Right.
I don't think there's such a thing with him.
For sure.
And that's why that's part of the part of why we go back.
That Shame solo.
And that seat I had in row 6, first set I didn't do so much taping, but then, as I jokingly said on Facebook, and then all of a sudden there'd be certain songs where the phone would just magically come out of my pocket already in record. And Shame, the angle I had on Shame was just absolutely the right angle. That was a great placement. Close enough.
How does Gabe chew gum, sing, and play at the same time?
Yeah.
I have an anecdote related to that. I did. He was kind enough to come up to join me on the podcast. So at the next show I brought him some gum because that's what he said he was into. So I got him some decent gum. I know he's a gum guy.
I thought night one was the best I've ever.
I'm glad you taped some, Michael. I was like you. I recorded one song over the 2 nights. I recorded one song out of the 2 nights. So I was pretty much.
It's hard to explain why improvisation is so important to us. I don't know, but it's just like kind of Michael was describing earlier, the way Derek just I described him and this band, they have our soul on a string, they have our heart on a string, they're kind of pulling us along, but it's I think it's more of a narrative. I think they're storytelling, they're telling stories, and they know how to build their solos and build their music organically together as a group. And I think that's what it's the narrative. It's a musical narrative that is just it's just engaging from start to finish. No moment is mailed in. So I think they're able to tell stories with their music that words. Well, the words are part of the story, but sometimes where words can't even tell the story, the music. So I think there's something to do with the narrative, and that's why I gravitate to this band, and maybe more so than maybe other jam bands or bands in this world. Not that there aren't other in the space. Not that there are other great bands out there that do this and know how to build solos and do all these things, but this band is expert level at all those things, dynamics, etc.
Yeah. For years, I've always had to answer that question. Why do you go see the same band twice? And I've always had the same answer. It's like going to see your favorite movie with a different twist at the end. So, whatever interests you, and if that interest allows your soul to be happy and it's different every time, why wouldn't you go see it?
Every Let Me Get By solo is like snooze. So
if they did the exact same set list, we've talked about this. If they did the same set list every night, we wouldn't be doing 10, 12 shows a year. It would be pretty rhetorical and boring. And you still get excited for it, but we all have those bands that we love to see where the set list is like. Even when I saw Steve Winwood, it was really the same set list he's played since like 5-10 years ago. You knew the songs that were coming for verbatim, and I get why that works for a lot of people. But I think that's what a huge deal with those bands that are their fan bases that are super wild and enthusiastic, whether that's if Dave Matthews or Fish is your thing, is that they don't play the same music twice. They don't play it all ever the same.
Right. And I saw McCartney the Saturday before Franklin in Denver. Yeah. And his voice was pretty good. And of course he's playing a lot of the same songs over and over. And when that comes to them, the Hey Jude was just completely absurd. 50,000 people.
Of course.
Yeah. It's still, it works with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I got asked him a question in Tulsa at that showing of Learning to Live Together, the Jesse's film, which still unfortunately doesn't have wide distribution. And I'm guessing it's because of the cost of sync licenses, which for people who don't understand how film and video works, when you do a visual, you have to get a sync license for each song. And that's an individual negotiation with each publishing company. And they don't care what anybody else did. And that means that kind of film that had all those great songs in it. And I'm just assuming this, but with my background in the biz, I think that may be part of why Jesse can't get enough cash in the door to justify getting the thing out there.
I think that was definitely a hurdle in terms of just getting it to whatever screenings, releases, limited runs it's had with these, already. Like I know that's been a challenge, but it's an awesome film. See it if anyone's able to catch it or
But the question I got to ask them that night had to do with just kind of the vibrational healing piece and the whole kind of the journey and everything. And Susan basically said, hey, if we can't get into that space, then how are we going to be able to help other people get there? And I think that has something to do with why they do the jazz piece. It needs to be interesting for them more than anything.
I think it's Derek, especially. I think Derek gets bored easily, and he needs to keep himself entertained. I think it's part of why he doesn't play the same, but he plays this. Even the rhythm parts may not be exactly the same. Either.
So somebody on Facebook said, "Gee, they need to go now. Take a break. Be at the end of every show." I think they're re-energizing themselves each show. It's not like, they're working so hard they need a break. It doesn't appear to be that way. And the video of Alicia's birthday party afterwards.
Yeah.
They don't look burned out to me. It's like
we wanted them to keep going. I did want to mention that they played the Outside Women Blues, and according to TT Bass here, on the 11th anniversary of Jack Bruce's passing, song popularized by Cream and passing. And to speak to something that I think it was Michael said earlier when we were talking about like Susan especially connecting with the band, maybe it was one of the other guys, but I think she really appreciated just from listening to the show when people were singing along with
Sugar.
both. She appreciated that half of Bonnie Raitt. Like, so I think that really meant a lot. That the crowd, that sounded like that's not something that she says to every audience. You don't really hear that. So like, I think you guys especially brought it with you guys brought the vocals on those couple songs especially, and I think Susan, as a fan of Bonnie Raitt and as a fan of Grateful Dead and their music, she definitely appreciated that and appreciated you guys. And that's just for me listening, let alone watching. I'll have to go back and check out her body language when she said all those things.
It was definitely
Mansfield.
I was just gonna say it was a great crowd. I mean, everyone was there for a reason, not to just see a concert. They were there. They made it
Family and friends vibe, right? I mean,
they were gonna sing along every show. They're gonna cheer every song. They're gonna cheer.
Duval chants.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see anyone out of line, like getting too drunk or fighting about standing or, trying to push their way. There were people engaging, talking, and just having a great time, at least in my section. I'm sure you guys were on the floor. It looked pretty joyous down there. We were pretty much all in the same area.
Derek with his hair down.
To ask about this, he essentially came out with his hair down after Sugar-E for
Made Up Mind.
Right?
Yeah.
He just
That's my picture. That's my picture.
So Derek was sweating like he had a fever. So I think that it had, after that shame solo, it was too much. And so his hair band he had to get some air in there. It was actually pretty warm, to be honest with you. I went swimming that morning in the pool. It was 75 degrees at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was pretty warm in St. Augustine.
But doesn't that make it hotter if your hair's not all pulled back?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he was just ready to rock.
We'll find out. One of us will post in Swamp Family or ask around. I'm sure that we'll get more details on what the. Maybe he lost the tie or something.
Yeah, maybe it snapped and he didn't have something to do it again.
I was thinking.
I want to buy the mythology. It's because this was the second set of the last night, and they were gonna just go off.
Yeah,
I think it was meant to be. It goes along with the themes that you're kind of inferring and referring to, like the letting your hair down and letting it all fly and being at the last show of the year. Thematically, it certainly fits. So that makes me think it was meant to be that this would be a thing.
I hate to burst your bubble. Then
oh yes,
I hate to burst your bubble.
Oh, you got the story.
So it was very, very hot up there. Very hot. They were sweating. Derek, Brandon, a bunch of them were sweating profusely.
Falcon's always sweating.
My understanding was when Derek went off, he went over, he poured a bottle of water over his hair because he was so hot. So since he wet his hair like that, he took his hair down basically because it was wet and so forth. So it was after he poured water over his hair that he took the whatever holds it up. So it wasn't, that's what I heard.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
we don't need to know that. And if that's true,
himself in water and
the music was too hot. The music was too much fire. He's producing.
Well, it was warm in there, Larry, but
it was warm.
Think about them on the stage. They're not getting any of the breeze that we're getting from the sides.
Yeah.
They're boxed in that stage. Yeah. And again, Ann made the comment to me several times. She goes, look how much they're sweating. She's like, it was apparently a pretty big difference from Friday to Saturday night.
Yeah.
In the way they appeared. And he just poured a bottle of water over his, of his head. And,
I forget there's humidity.
Just kind of letting it fly.
Yeah, it was
looked
warm.
really cool. It was cool. I think I've only seen it like 2 or 3 times in 12 years.
It was cool seeing people's posts that have been following the band for a long time. That I've been following this guy for 20 years. I've never seen him with his hair down. It's been pretty cool to see the reaction of the
absolutely.
And I made that comment on my Facebook profile about the only time other people said, like David, and then Tracy immediately is posting the pictures. Here's the 2014. Here's the time in 2004 with Derek Trucks Band. Immediately, those 2 pictures.
They're all for maybe different reasons. I remember one. There's been some wind related hair
related. Yeah.
Hair. What do you call not malfunction? Not a malfunction, but
and then
hair
somebody
down.
chimed
Maybe
in.
lost the better one a bet. Maybe he lost the better one a bet and did it. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody chimed in on the Tedeschi Trucks Band group going, is this now what we're going to be arguing about? And I'm like, there's no argument. This is light as a feather. It's not, it's just.
Well,
we're being
there
It's
wasn't
exciting.
anything
Nice-
else to argue about at this show. You said all the sitters and the standers were getting along, and that's
It was a
that's
nice
essentially
talking point.
everything.
It was definitely a nice talking point for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's a takeaway.
Yeah.
So, to me, I'm like, wow, okay, his hair's down. Now he looks like someone out of Lord of the Rings. But let's just roll with it. And he's a warrior. He's gonna continue to slay everybody here in the crowd. And it was great. He just went with it. I mean, he could have taken 10 seconds to go put another hairband in or whatever you want to call them, scrunchie.
I think he liked the effect. I did
too. He was like, okay, it's the last night. I don't care.
Guy, I don't think he minded at the moment.
Yeah,
I think he
was
does.
down with it.
We all
It's
think
lore.
of him as
It's the lore.
we think of him as this stoic sort of guy for the most part, zen and very everything is all about the music all the time, 100% all is about the music. But I think he's very conscious of this stage show, and I think conscious of little things that he can do and little choices he can do. Even if it's just I'm gonna wear this T-shirt out, like they're aware of those certain things, even if it's not the priority of what the band is all about. They definitely,
So Alicia's T-shirt got a lot of publicity. Everybody was talking about Alicia's T-shirt on the sites. She was rocking a Alice Coltrane shirt. It looked like, right?
Oh.
Long Island.
Yeah, I know. It's part of the gig for next year. I'm hoping really pans out for the Kofi Day of Service. We'll see.
Yeah.
They could do some. I could see them Derek doing some Alice Coltrane teases into TTB song. I think that would be there's a fit there. Anything else we should cover or talk about or mention or bring up or take a look at?
You guys have all seen him more than I have, but off of the 6 times last year and this year, I just think Derek's looser in general. And it doesn't really show up in dramatic ways because it's not like he's going to do cartwheels. But it just appears to me that there's a certain sense of just him being more subtly expressive with how he moves, how he is. And I don't know if that's just I'm just wondering.
I've certainly noticed him exploring more. There's no
exploration
doubt
was going to be my word.
I've certainly seen him exploring more and exploring in. You pointed out jazz, and then there's a sort of ethereal nature to the chords he takes sometimes in the places he goes, and he really, really goes towards more generosity also than I knew in him in his first few years that I knew of him. He really shares the stage a lot more. I thought in the last couple seasons that really showed up in 25, how much he shares the stage, at least a couple of times a show where he'll walk over to the horns or he'll walk over to Gabe or he'll walk over to Brandon. And I think that's very, very cool. Very cool.
I think that was part of the design of this band, but I'm sure they maybe Susan Derek were not totally sure what that would look like in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. And it's certainly grown and evolved, but that's something that they've certainly leaned into and made such an amazing part of TTB. Occasionally you'll hear, even one of us to some degree, like, oh, we wish we had a little more of that or a little more of this, but Derek and TTB do an overall pretty damn amazing job of having balance, and it's a lot of I describe it as mouths to feed, but I think they do a great job of feeding everyone, enough to the point where they're continuing on, where Mark Rivers and Mike Mattison and Kebbi and Falcon, the OGs especially, are still part of this band, and there's more than one of them. I just named a few people, so it's like,
it's cool.
There's something. I mean, Alicia's been in the band a long time, and Elizabeth at this point too. Like,
right.
Yeah, it was cool that Susan pointed out. Kebbi's been with us from the beginning, and it's just like it's really cool, like those little subtle things, like you say. And then
I love the band intro during the with a little help. It's so organic, and you were also kind of getting. We joke about enjoying Susan singing the phone book, But in some ways, we're hearing her improvise, but her improvising just saying the name of her band member and saying thank you or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, look at that. That's a new music. That's a new version. You know, it's like a new TTB. You know, she really could sing the phone book.
And
Yeah.
it was in
The only
Mansfield.
show I've ever been to where they've actually called out Derek and everyone cheered for him. You know, usually no one acknowledges him. They used to do it in Derek Truck's band, and he kind of cut that out. And you know,
Last year,
John, to your point, let me just mention one
Go ahead.
thing to your point, John. The one thing that I've noticed in the past 3 years with this music, and particularly Derek's playing, is that he's allowed not only more room for other people in the band to play, but he has interacted more with them when the soloing is going on. Particularly this year with Emmanuel, if you listen in his solos, Derek's continued to play alongside with them, which is much better than just stopping your solo, passing the mic, bringing it back. That's just sharing space. But now we're actually improvising together.
I think there's more. There's certainly more of that. And I appreciate that too. Certainly.
Yeah, and I think ever since Gabe and Brandon have come on, it's evolved. You know, obviously with Passaquan, that's given Gabe a lot more room to breathe and to be part of this bigger sound. But I've noticed this year, particularly with Emmanuel, just picking on different songs like that "Down in the Flood" from Wilmington.
Yeah.
Is really I highly recommend everyone go back and listen to
Yes,
that.
yeah.
It's phenomenal, like how Derek is like, okay, we're gonna share this, and they just take a trip together, and it's a unique experience. I'm bummed that I didn't go there.
So
I was 4 hours away in the car, and I was like, no, I can't.
That's
do
what makes this band so
Yeah.
amazing. Like we were talking about this song "Down in the Flood," and we're getting these totally different sounds, you know, as part of that song. With one night you're getting an Emmanuel trumpet solo, and then here you got I believe a Gabe keyboard solo, and when they went into it, I was like, oh, you know, like I mentioned, kind of caught me off guard. But then the way it just builds and it just hooks you in pretty much immediately. The current version feels right. I could make a super cut, a montage, a highlight reel of all of you guys, but Michael specifically saying, this was the best show. This was the best show. This is the greatest show I've ever been to.
Michael, was Saturday night the greatest show you've ever seen?
Right? No,
it was.
Well,
Franklin was, and Mansfield was, and Berkeley was, and they're all better than the last or not.
I'm picking up on a trend.
John, I love you referencing like the season, like it's a sports team. It's this season. I think that I haven't heard that yet. That's great though, because in like there's always next year if your team doesn't win. So like when Tedeschi's done playing, there's always next year for them to come back and a new season.
Yeah, to me it is a season in a way because there's a flavor to it. There's a team to it, obviously, but there's a flavor to it.
Yeah,
sports.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I talk about getting that sort of adrenaline rush as going to a TTB. I feel like it compares to going to like a playoff game of your favorite sports team. But sometimes the playoff team disappoints.
But you always go home happy.
You win. You never go home a loser.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
Nobody loses.
That's what I was going to say when Randy talked about that before. It's like your team's in the Super Bowl every night. They freaking win. And it's just a different way that they win the game every night. So
before we got Patrick Mahomes too.
Every night. When you go to the TTB show, you win every night. It's a win every night.
Well, before I moved to Florida, I was in the dog pound for 30 years. Friends would ask me, how can you go to the same concert for 40 times? Like, do you know how many times I walked back to the parking lot from the dog pound?
Adam's a Mets fan.
You talking about the Cleveland going to Cleveland Browns games?
Yeah, that team. Yeah,
that one.
They're still there. They still exist.
But it's so true, though. I used to come home from Yankee playoff games and win, amazing. But you take that subway, and after a loss, I don't say a word for 40 minutes down to Penn. I'm miserable. The whole subway's miserable. I mean, I've never left a Tedeschi show in my 57 experiences and been upset once. Never once.
Right.
Boston is
not
like
designed
that.
That way. It's not designed that way.
When the Red Sox lose in Boston, the whole
I've left
city is
one concert mad, and I never saw the Cars again. And there it is. The rest of it's all good.
Oh gosh.
And that last night at the Beacon, because I flew in from Denver into New York, and it just blew my mind at the end of the show how here's 2,500 New Yorkers all in complete ecstasy, all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And when does that happen in New York City?
Never. But the unfortunate part is you don't make it to the subway before you're reminded about how society is not the best. I love that environment inside that place, but you can't get to the corner of the subway at 72nd Street before you're reminded.
You want some ecstasy? Well, you're in the subway.
Hey, Randy, I saw Fish in '95 at MSG for my first New York experience. We literally drove in the city that day, and I took the subway on the way back, and it was like just that dichotomy of what you just said. Like at New Year's Eve, I went to the best show possible, one of the best Fish shows on paper now. But the minute after we left MSG, I had the Independence Center of everyone coming out of Times Square, and I had to ride the subway all the way to Jersey, and yelling, screaming, puking. I mean, everything in the world. Like it was just, oh my gosh, you just like brought that memory back. I'm sorry to
speaking of New York City, has anyone heard these rumblings about a really long residency in March for this band that some people enjoy to see? They're called Tedeschi Trucks Band. I've heard that they're going to do maybe 11 shows in March. Just a rumor.
Wow.
Just a rumor.
I'll keep an eye out.
That would make sense if, in fact, the new album's coming out in March.
True story. It would also bring the Beacon total to an exact 75 from the 64 they're at currently now. So anyone who likes numerology and numbers, but yeah, that's the rumor.
That'll be fun.
That'd be a good kickoff for the new album for sure. The media.
David, do you have anything to add to that or not? You have this smile and smirk.
They're gonna be there in March. Yes,
allegedly
they will be. I don't know how many.
This is the rumor, right?
They'll be there in March. Is what I heard. I heard the rumor too, Randy. So I think so.
I hope it's a filthy, dirty, true rumor. I hope it's so true. It's crazy.
For us from Atlanta, it's a big expense to.
I'm sure
to do the Beacon run.
You guys should just rent an apartment for the month. There's like 6 of you guys. Rent somebody's place.
Bunk beds.
I'll top bunk, whatever. It doesn't.
So I would think you could. I would think the Beacon would already have shows in its calendar, even from now.
They don't.
Not for TTB. Not for TTB, but for other artists.
What's that, bud?
I said you're 5 steps ahead of them. Already searching the Beacon calendar for March and
not that they would be on there, but there'd be other artists already on there.
But there's not. There's
nothing.
Well, people are working on these things behind the scenes.
Yeah. Come November, you'll start seeing some.
Told me anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry. If you don't want to go, they're not going to be there in March. They won't be there in March.
Okay, they've done late Feb, March. They've done
the nice part. It's the cheapest time of the year to stay in New York City. I mean, the fall's the most expensive. So I mean, in that regard, it's.
I like it. I like the fall tour.
We'll be there.
I'll support that. Yeah,
that was a
magic. I like the fall tour.
I can tell you. You talked about crying at the show, Michael, and 11 years ago tonight, I was crying in the Beacon. 11 years ago tonight was the last Allman Brothers show.
I was going to say Allman's,
Yep.
11 years ago tonight, I was there, my buddy Jimbo, and it was very weird to be in a concert where you were happy and so sad at the same time, knowing that it was ending. And that they played 3 sets that night. It was incredible. Wow. But it was a sadness, to go along with it. And I realized through some of my memories that it was 11 years ago tonight that they wrapped it up.
Super cool. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw Friends of the Brothers last weekend with Alan and Junior Mac and JMO in Long Island, and they're just super good. I don't even want to call them a Allman cover band, but just, if they're ever around your local area, check them out.
Awesome.
They're super fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
This is
don't.
that
Junior
list.
Mac doesn't come down south too often. I wish he did. I love Junior.
Oh, he makes that band. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Damn it, Adam. Look at you.
Little Martha Mountain Jam. Don't want you no more. Cross the berm, one way out. Good morning, little schoolgirl. Night Rider. High cost of low living. Hot land of blue sky. You don't love me. Soul Serenade. That's just. Oh, that's disc one. Oh, they made disc. I wanted to find the set. But this
Set list.
There you go. Yeah, second set.
Setlist.fm.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's
first set. If they did a disc by
That is it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Statesboro, Wasted
That's
No
it.
More Time, Black Hearted Woman, Skies Crying Dreams, Don't Keep Me Wondering, Liz Reed, Jama, Boo Boo.
Maybe we should have a moment. Maybe we should have a moment of silence, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Melissa,
Yeah.
Revival, Southbound, Mountain Jam, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, Mountain Jam Reprise, Whipping Post, Farewell Speeches, and Trouble No More. That's epic. That's an epic show.
Which was supposedly the first song they ever played together was Trouble No More, and they ended with the first song that they ever played.
Did they have
together.
guests on the final night? Can you go down to the players?
Probably no
zero.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Zero. Nada.
Hmm.
Just them
That's something
doing
else.
their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-28-14. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was in the room there, fortunate to be in that room. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep. That is
Well,
pretty
you
Well,
saw
my
them
dad
at
was
the-
at the Fillmore East, so that's all the
Well,
whatever that's worth.
that's cooler for sure. That's
Yeah.
definitely cooler.
And Michael was at saw the Mad Dog, so it's like I don't know.
Now, if he had a
like,
cassette tape of it, that would really be cool.
Yeah.
but we all have these like connections and stories, and it makes us feel like we can kind of take a little piece of that experience by knowing each other. Is there something to that? Goes along right with my vicarious living through you guys. But thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Anything else?
Hey,
we
no
should
problem.
mention or cover or talk
Hey,
about?
What's
Hey,
next
how
on the
about the
podcast?
new music?
What's
How
that?
about the new music that they came out with, and we get to hear a new album? You know,
Yeah,
in a
the
couple
new
months,
album is going to
so
be.
that's going to be exciting. You know,
Yeah.
love the new
Double
songs
album.
that they debuted. It was
Yeah.
great. You know,
It'll
Yeah,
be
we've
a
only
double.
heard the first
Great
set.
ended because midnight. After midnight because Dwayne died
Yeah.
on 10/29.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was Anna's thing.
That's yeah.
What was someone saying? Was someone saying something else?
I was saying
I-
double album.
I-
It can't
yeah.
can't be a single album. We've already heard 7 of the songs. It's a double album for sure.
I think I think Derek, when they were in Albuquerque, he did an interview with the local paper.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I believe he
Some
mentioned
good stuff.
17 songs, I think.
17 songs.
17 songs.
I don't care how many fit, but you gotta have a lot of music. I don't know. As much
That
as
is
you
a
can.
lot of music.
Put it on
Yeah.
whatever it needs to.
Yeah, the more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
To fit on. Good
Yeah,
stuff,
I just-
guys.
Randy, are
Yeah,
you
that's
in?
what-
Are you
I
in
like
for
that.
Sun, Sand, and Soul again, Randy?
No, I'm not because so those trips are hard, especially from Long Island. Sunset and Soul is like super difficult to get to without it cost me. I flew to Atlanta last time and drove. That's honestly the best way for me to go. But we're taking our
Wow.
boys to Red Rocks next year. So usually I do one of those two. So we're gonna do the kids in Red Rocks in hopefully that last July weekend, August 1st, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
and not Sun, Sand, and Soul this year. And then the next year, well, my wife and I will do Sun, Sand, and Soul. And not
Is the festival just total GA, or are there seats?
no, there's seats. You get a
There are
code.
seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a pit where you can buy like wristbands for you're talking about Sun, Sand, and Soul, Michael, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is-
So you have seats in a cove, and then you could upgrade to like there's a pit area that's actually super amazing because it's a little lower than the seats. So anyone standing in the pit, people can see right over them. Super awesome.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say something in terms of when I came up when I was 18, 19, 20, back in 69, 70, 71, and I got to see all these bands. And for whatever the reasons were, I kind of lost the connection with what was current, because I think what was current wasn't up to what I was used to. And there were certain eras where I was like I got way into Talking Heads and Devo when they came out. saw them all on their first tours in Denver. But what I've rediscovered through this band is that 18-year-old passion, but now I have the 74-year-old experience. And the combination of those two things that this band is able to activate in me, it saved my life this year. It really
awesome.
did.
Great.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's
amazing.
Very cool.
I've enjoyed listening to you speak about all your experiences, and it's been a
Thank
wonderful, wonderful experience for all of us.
I appreciate that. And it was last May I went to New York, and David and I had connected through the Facebook group initially. And I was like, gee, I would really like to figure out how to become part of that community.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are.
And here I am.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Welcome.
That's it.
I love this so much. It's just the greatest.
Well said. Adam, who's next on your podcast interviews this year? You got
Well, we'll
2
see.
months.
I figure now that we have a break, I'll try to do some recorded interviews. I want to do more live streams and stuff like that, and I'll do some deep dives on things. But I figure I'll just ask anyone and everyone connected to this band if they would like to come on and talk about the band, whether they're in it or not.
Guys.
What's that?
Yeah, I said get the TTB guys on the bass.
Yeah, you got to
guys.
get Boone on. He'll talk about like the band that other band that he's got and everything, and promote them a little bit. I know he's a quiet dude, but I mean, I feel like Brandon would make a great guest. That's me personally. I love Brandon. I love them all, but
Brandon's really nice.
Me and Flam, I've ran into Flam while he was talking to Brandon, and I like one of those where I actually don't see Brandon at all, and he grabs me and goes, hey, what's up? And I go, oh, that's so great. I'm walking to the bathroom, my head's down thinking one thing, and he grabs me to say hello. It's always like the inclusivity of the band, like, you know, and that's past experiences hanging out with Brandon and talking with him. But
you're friends with the band. You're
it's cool that he like, you know, like I said, it's just, I mean, I was, 2 seconds and on the road, but it's super cool that they like pick you out when you're least expecting it too. They're just super down to earth people.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and it's and we're, like I keep saying, we're lucky to be a part of it in some capacity. It's awesome for me. It's great to connect.
We're
with
lucky
you guys.
to be alive while this band is making music,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
In their prime and in their artistic prime.
For me, they've been in prime for 12 years that I've been
exactly.
doing it.
They're in their prime since the very beginning. They knew that. I asked when I was lucky enough to talk to Kebbi on the show. I think I asked him or he commented on, he knew that they were awesome right away. He's like, oh yeah, Derek and Susan, we got this and we got this, we got me playing, and everybody was on fire, and he was naming past members of they knew that they had something right away, but to see it continue to grow is super cool and uncharted territory in a lot of ways. Like, as we keep saying, the next show, the latest show is the best one, and we mean it. But thank you again, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam.
You guys,
Thank you, Adam.
We can talk again before the next shows. I'm sure we'll have something to discuss. There'll be news topics. We'll chat online, chat offline. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Certainly, I appreciate it. Patreon.com/TTB podcast to support Weedside Woodside. There he is. Check him out. Check him out if you're in the.
Come buy some cannabis.
Yeah.
I'll take care
there
of it.
You go.
I've had a few people have come into the store because of the podcast.
Great.
And peace and love.
What city are you in?
I'm in Queens.
New York.
Queens. All right. I'll send my daughter there from Brooklyn.
Tell her to mention Randy and TDB, and she's in with a 25% discount just for the name.
There you go. Cheers, guys. Thank you to the chat.
Great to see you, friends. Great to see you.
Bye. Good to see you. Thank you.
You got to talk soon, y'all. Later. Peace.
Bye.
Thanks, Adam.